Lusaka City Council has threatened to revoke licenses for some bar owners in Kabwata constituency for their noise pollution in the residential areas. The warning comes after several complaints from residents of Madras Kamwala and Kabwata, where some named bars and nightclubs have allegedly continued playing loud music. Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Smata says despite warnings by the council, some bars have continued defying the Public Health Act. Details in this report.
A visit by the local authority at some named bars and liquor stores in Lusaka's Kabwata constituency. Noise pollution in residential areas and operating beyond stipulated hours as directed by the Lusaka City Council has prompted this interaction.
These speakers which you have mounted outside there are not supposed to be outside there, because when you are playing music throughout the night, people surrounding areas, residents in Madras, Kamwala and Kabwata are complaining.
Among the affected areas are Madras, Kabwata and Kamwala areas, from where several complaints have been received.
What has transpired for the past, since 2015, we have had the noise pollution from these nightclubs, of which as residents we have failed to sleep. As a result, many of us have tried by all means to write petitions to the council. We went there physically, but it hasn't yielded to our expectation.
Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Smata has confirmed receiving these reports.
I'm responding to persistent complaints by residents of Kamwala, in particular Madras area, and also surrounding Kabwata areas. They have complained about massive noise pollution, which plays from as early as 18 hours until dawn in the morning, about 6 hours. Now, this thing has been going on for a very long time. I think the first petition the residents wrote to the town clerk at Lusaka City Council.
Council Public Health Director Christopher Mtonga says non-compliant bar and nightclub owners risk having their licenses revoked.
The causing of nuisance to the environment, or rather the surrounding community, is an offence according to Public Health Act Section 67, which talks about nuisances. Because a nuisance is something that you do or want to do that to affect the health of the next person. So if you're playing loud music, it's affecting me, it's affecting the neighborhood, that can be deemed as a nuisance. And so word of caution is that as we're establishing these premises, bars, nightclubs, let's continue complying with the provisions of the Liquor Licensing Act, because the law provides that we can actually recommend for revocation if there's persistent contravention of the Liquor Licensing Act.
That their concerns be heard by the local authority. For Chimalata, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
We take our final set of commercials. Stay tuned for more news.
Thank you, Joseph, for that report. Now, moving on, UPND Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata has called on the Lusaka City Council to enforce bylaws against noise pollution coming from drinking places in Kabwata. Mr. Simata has warned that failure by the local authority to enforce the law will force him to mount loudspeakers at the office of the town clerk, Mr. Alex Mwansa. Tito has more.
Kabwata residential area in Lusaka is also named after a modern metropolis, Dallas in Texas. However, the Kabwata cash and carry has continued to attract attention since 2015 because of noise pollution coming from the bars. We visited the portion where the bars are located and found it quiet before nightfall as usual. However, as early as 10 hours, some men were already imbibing alcohol.
When you come here at night, it's a different world altogether. You find all sorts of party animals here clubbing the night through. Now, the noise pollution that comes here has been described as massive by the nearby residents of Madras, Kabwata, and of course Kamwala. The councillor is here actually to inspect this state of affairs.
These speakers which you have mounted outside there are not supposed to be outside there, because when you are playing music throughout the night, people surrounding areas, residents in Madras, Kamwala and Kabwata are complaining.
He has written 3 letters to the town clerk complaining over the noise pollution to no avail.
I've continued to receive numerous reports from the residents of Madras, Kamwala and Kabwata surrounding areas about the persistent loud music which is playing during night time. through the night, and they're being deprived of sleep. Their children who are going school cannot study, and they cannot sleep. So this has raised the concern, which is not a new concern, because these residents of surrounding areas have complained since 2015. I've written a letter to the town clerk, and I've given him a 24-hour ultimatum that he should bring this noise to a stop. He should send his officers on the ground to enforce the Public Health Act and stop this nuisance of noise, because people are being disturbed with the sound that is coming from there. If he does not do that, tomorrow I'll be at Civic Center. I'll be there with mounted speakers at his office, and I'm going to play loud music so that he can understand what the people of Kamwala, Madras and Kawata surrounding areas are going through.
A senior citizen who has lived in the area for several years says he cannot stand the noise pollution.
What is going on now is lawlessness at its worst, because this area, it never used to be like this. It was a nicely managed place by the NHA by then, but what we have seen now, anyone who feels like doing anything, they would come and put up whatever they feel like doing.
We are here on one of the bars here at KCC, and we hope that the bar owners will adhere to the council directive. Tito Kalama for S24.
Thank you so much, Tito, for that report. We take our first set of commercials. We'll be right back with more news.
Hello once again, another news in detail. Residents of Madras and Kawata estates in Kawata constituency have complained about what they have termed as severe noise pollution, which is produced by a cluster of bars and nightclubs operating from the former Kawata Cash and Kari area, locally known as KCC. In separate interviews, the residents allege that the bars and nightclubs operate outside stipulated hours, as they operate from 17 hours till 05 hours in the morning while playing loud music. Meanwhile, Lusaka City Council Town Clerk Mr. Alex Mwansa says the bars and nightclubs have been given up to Wednesday, the 16th of February 2022, to show cause as to why legal action should not be taken against them, as an inspection conducted on Monday also revealed that most of them do not have liquor licenses. More in this report.
Adherence to laid down operating hours for bars and nightclubs has been a challenge since the reduction in operating hours due to coronavirus restrictions. While showing a significant improvement in comparison to other months, the statistics of COVID-19 stand at 2,599 as of Tuesday, according to data from the Ministry of Health, necessitating the continued restrictions in operating hours for these businesses. Many bars and nightclubs have been cited for operating outside the given hours. The case of those operating at the former Kawata Cash and Kari, locally known as KCC in Kawata constituency. According to Lusaka Town Clerk Mr. Alex Mwansa, bars are only allowed to operate from 18 hours to 21 hours, while nightclubs from 18 hours up to 22:30. Residents of Madras and Kawata estates living near KCC, however, allege that the cluster of bars and nightclubs that operate here do not follow guidelines and have also become a public nuisance due to noise pollution, as they play their speakers from outside and operate from 17 hours till 5 hours in the morning.
Despite the fact that we have put up some petitions which have gone to council, but they have reached the dead end. This is because maybe the reason best known to the management at the council. But at the same time, we are not saying that people should not do business here, but they should do it quietly and irrespective of other residents.
We have a lot of noise from their patrons. 02, 03, we don't sleep. Patrons keep passing here, insulting, others are fighting, so we don't sleep because of the same bars that are here. I think they don't close at the stipulated time. That is the main complaint that we have in this area. And I think these other flats, that's where they have that much noise pollution in Madras, because that's where the speakers are facing and the wind is blowing that direction.
They do not really follow the stipulated regulations as regards noise pollution, and so you'll find that the noise that they make goes unchecked most of the time. People drink and make noise at awkward times of the night, going up to 02. You would find that even the times when COVID regulations were in place, some of these drinking places were not following the regulations, and so people were still gathering and making the noise, disturbing people that would want to sleep after having a long a long day at work.
In an interview, Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mr. Mainda Simata says his office, as well as that of the area member of parliament, has written to the Lusaka City Council on the same problem more than once.
As Kamwala Councillor, I feel that we have people in the Lusaka City Council who, for reasons best known to themselves, do not want to enforce the provisions which allow them to even confiscate the license and even speakers of club owners who are not being compliant to the law. And so on my part, I've given the town clerk a 24-hour ultimatum in which he should send officers here on the ground to remind these people that playing loud music which is not in a soundproofed hall is not allowed. And furthermore, he should revoke the license of those that won't comply. If he does not do that, then tomorrow, myself as councillor, I'm going to get loud speakers and go and mount them at the town clerk's office and play loud music there so that perhaps he can understand what the people of Madras, Kamwala and Kawata are going through.
Meanwhile, in a phone interview, Lusaka Town Clerk Mr. Alex Mwansa has reviewed that an inspection of the premises was conducted on Monday, 14th February 2022, which reviewed that most of them were also operating in unsanitary conditions and did not have liquor licenses. He asked that the Office of the Public Health Director at the Lusaka City Council has given them up to 16th February 2022 to show cause on why legal action should not be taken against them. He has since urged other bar and nightclub owners to adhere to laid down guidelines, failure to which they will be visited by the law. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Now, Kamwala Ward Councillor Simata Mainda has given Lusaka City Council Town Clerk 24 hours to address noise pollution in Kabwata residential areas. Mr. Simata says the late Kabwata area member of parliament, Levi Mkandawiwe, wrote to LCC on several occasions on the need to manage the noise problems in the authority ignored until his death. He said on Sunday the new Kabwata MP, Andrew Tayengwa, Kabwata Councillor Walia, and visited KCC to address residents' complaints about the loud music that continues to disturb their sleep. Mr. Simata says despite writing to the town clerk to enforce existing council's bylaws forbidding the noise pollution and public nuisance, LCC seems unwilling to act to the end of this issue since 2016 for reasons best known to themselves. He has threatened to mount loud mobile music systems to give officers at LCC tests of their medicine.
So as Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor, I'm here at KCC where there are a number of clubs that play very loud music. And this is what has caused the surrounding neighborhoods of Madras, Kamwala and Kawata areas to complain. And this complaint is not a new complaint, it's a very old complaint. As far back as 2016, the community of Kamwala and Madras did write to the town clerk, urging him to step in and intervene in this noise pollution. Because as you know, noise pollution, especially the ones which comes from clubs that are playing loud music, contravenes the Public Health Act, which states that loud music must be contained within clubs that should be soundproofed. So this is a contravention and it's a public nuisance. And furthermore, as councillor, immediately we came into power in August, I wrote a letter to the TC urging him to act on the same issue of noise pollution. And even the late Honorable Levi Mkandawiwe, the may so rest in peace, the former MP of Kabwata, did write to the TC urging him to act on the issue, but all that has gone unheeded. And finally, last Sunday, we did come here with the new MP of Kabwata, Honorable Tayengwa, and also the area councillor of Kabwata, this side of Kabwata, Mr. Wale Chala, and myself, representing the other residents on the other side in Madras, to have a one-on-one with these club owners. A few complied, but most of them did not comply. But what concerns me most as councillor is the unwillingness for the town clerk of the city of Lusaka to respond to the letters that are written, not just from me as councillor, but even from the MP. So what we are seeing is a lack of interest or inertia from the town clerk. And therefore, yesterday I wrote to him again for the last time, and I gave him an ultimatum that if he does not send officers on the ground here to put this noise pollution into check and under control through either the revocation of the license or the warning of the people that run these loud music clubs, then myself, I'm going to mount loudspeakers and play music at Civic Center by his office. Because if he cannot read and respond to what we write, maybe perhaps music will make him change his mind. So that's what I'm going to go tomorrow. I've given him a 24-hour ultimatum. If he does not act, speakers will be mounted right out Civic Center by his office and loud music will be played so that he can have a taste of the medicine that the people of Madras, Kamwala and Kabwata surrounding areas are going through.